Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If you're fully vaccinated and you're outdoors and not in a big crowd, you no longer need to wear a mask. I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
Did you guys get that? Some of this stuff is so stupid. Wait, I have to wear a mask? I'm fully vaccinated, right? So, I am fully vaccinated. Other people may not be vaccinated, but I've done it all. In fact, I've had it and I'm fully vaccinated. I've got both shots, survived it both. No tail. I didn't wake up with this sense of becoming a farmer for Bill Gates. I don't think I have the number of the beast. I mean, I think I'm okay. But I still have to wear a mask? First of all, why are you telling me I can now take my mask off outdoors? Who's not doing that? I'm curious. Who's not out for a walk and saying to themselves, I don't really need to wear a mask here? I'm curious. Who's not doing that? Apparently, some people need to be told by other people what they can and can't do, which is ridiculous.
Moms and dads, pillars of every community, gone by the thousands every day. At that time, less than 1% of seniors were fully vaccinated when I took office. Today, in less than 100 days, more than 67%, two-thirds of our seniors are now fully vaccinated. And more than 80% of our seniors have had at least one shot.
Great. And those other 20%, like everything else, probably won't get any. I've run into several seniors because the place I play golf on the weekends, it's like a 55 and older community. And I'll be out there chatting with them. And, yeah, some are just, they're never getting it. They're not getting it. It just isn't going to happen. They're not going to get it. Good. We've got seniors, the most vulnerable. So we need to take care of. That matters. Taking care of the most vulnerable, absolutely. But the theater of the mask, right? What, a week or so, about 10 days ago, CDC comes out and says, hey, look, the theatrics of the cleaning, right? You're going into a room and you're going to, like for us. So my on-air partner from my other show, he comes in every day. He wipes everything down like he just committed a crime and wants to make sure there's no fingerprints. He wiped down a banana one day. Like, what do you think is on there, dude? Well, I said, first of all, you're taking the banana, so you're peeling it. So it's already got a case. That stuff, they said, well, you don't need to do theatrics. But then somebody asked the question to Biden, which I thought about, hey, dude, you're rolling up here, nobody around you, got a mask on.
If the risk is so low outdoors, why doesn't this new guidance apply to everybody?
Because the science indicates that the most certain way to make sure it doesn't spread if both people have been vaccinated, the people you're with, and you're outside.
And you chose to wear a mask, sir. You chose to wear a mask because you walked out here. What message were you sending by wearing a mask outside alone?
By watching me take it off and not put it back on until I get inside.
Is that what it is? Look, I'm not going to hammer Biden for the way that he's gone about doing and handling coronavirus. I think he's done a pretty bang-up job. Right now, this is when, though, you got to figure out what's going to happen. This is when you got to figure out how do you get us over that finish line, and where is the finish line? Remember, it's endemic, not pandemic. If it's going to be here, we have to learn to live with it, through it, around it, and above it. So we're going to have a finish line where we essentially reset ourselves and get going. You need to put a date out there. In perpetuity, it's not a date. That's what I think people are waiting for, looking up to. Because for a lot of people, like, here's a perfect example. I live in a state that's become purple. A lot of our Congress people are now Democrats in a very red state inside of the state. Our two senators are Democrats. Our governor used to be a really good friend of the president, the former president, who now apparently swears to destroy him, because that's what you do with your really good friends. So he says, yeah, there's no mask mandate. Then everybody out there says, well, there is a mask mandate. But then there kind of is. But then there isn't. But then I don't know. And people are like, why is it important? Because if I walk in a store without a mask, you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to get into a fight with anybody. I don't want to argue with people. I don't want to see people arguing about stuff. I don't want confusion, which is what we're creating now more than ever in a lot of this. And why is that? Because the plan to say this is what's going to happen here doesn't seem to be there yet, which is, okay, this is what's going on. July 4th, it's on. You want to go to a concert? You go to a concert. You want to go out with your friends and have fun? You don't want to wear a mask? You knew if you didn't get the vaccine what potentially could be the issue. And I think most people who aren't getting the vaccine, who think this thing's a joke, they're fine with the risk. Good. I don't want to be beholden to other people, and I think most people feel that way as well. But we got the new CDC guidelines, which are essentially, if you're outdoors by yourself, nobody around you, you've been vaccinated 8 times, you can take your mask off. I'm kidding. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us tonight. It's a big night. Biden, what you doing?
President Biden tonight will lay out the details of his American Family Plan, what the White House is calling a, quote, once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's future. The $1.8 trillion proposal would create universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, a step the White House says will benefit 5 million children and save the average family $13,000 a year. The plan also calls for 2 years of free community college and a national paid family and medical leave program.
Yeah. Translation, it's a lot of money. Be a ton of money spent. They're going to roll out a lot of stuff. Is it going to be a battle of how bad the last guy was compared to how great I am? People have been asking it. Jen Psaki.
He's not going to attack the Republican Party. He's not going to attack individuals in the Republican Party.
Good. All right. That's good. What about the I'm going to govern for everybody BS that we always hear, but you can't do anymore. Even if you want to, you can't do it.
He's going to try to lead and try to send a message to Republicans in Congress by laying out policies he thinks there should be agreement on to move forward on.
There you go. And I think there's a lot of stuff out there we can agree on. As long as the extreme gets out of the way, we can agree on a lot of stuff. Not going to be perfect. It's a lot of money, though. I mean, we're already talking about, people are already going, all right, we need another stimulus. We need another stimulus. We need to get one more stimulus. More money. You'd be surprised how many direct messages, text, you guys can always text the program, 323-538-2423. I get saying, are we getting another check? First of all, I'm not the check giver. Secondly, why are you asking about another check? I'm just curious. Why are you asking about another check? You should be asking, hey, can we just get back to doing our thing? Can we get back to living our life? Can we get back to doing what we want to do, which is work, go out, grow, live life, have fun, go to concerts, go to movies, go to sporting events, not have to worry about, hey, we're not going to have a prom this year for the kids who didn't really go to school anyways, so maybe we'll have a Zoom prom. I mean, this is the insanity of which we live. We want to get back to doing those things. Great. But you're asking about another check. And I'm like, my goodness me. Now we're talking about another $1.8 trillion spent. $1.8 trillion. Those kids, those are a lot of dollars. Those are a lot of dollars. And we're still not getting into the infrastructure side of some stuff that we're going to be looking at, some of the other things that are out there. And I look at this and some of the stuff that he wants to roll out, the mass taxes, it's crazy.
Now, President Biden's plan to pay for his domestic programs faces fierce criticism from Republicans. They're arguing that stiffer taxes on corporations and investors, that's going to be a job killer.
Yeah. And people say, well, most of the people who are investing aren't going to be hurt. Well, they are. Well, how's that, Chad? It's simple. You're going to go after people who are risking their money and investing in companies. And in doing so, you're going to go, well, we're going to start taxing you at this level. Okay, well, first of all, let's break down how these taxes are going to work. Let's just break this down completely. How does this work? When you start to do that, they start to pull money. They put it in other places where they're not going to have the same kind of hit, which causes the market to slow down, which causes investment inside of companies to slow down, which slows down their growth. Your stock market slows down, it starts to go down. What happens when it starts to go down? Well, you're hurt. Why? Because you have a 401k. Now your company is not getting investment money put into it, and people are looking for other places to grow and, or in some cases, shelter their money. It's about being smart without being ridiculous. I think we can all realize that. Tonight, the Republicans will have their say afterwards, delivering the speech.
The White House says the plan costs $200 billion. And to pay for it, the president will call for raising taxes on the most wealthy Americans and investors. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott will deliver the Republican response to Biden's address.
So, it'll be very interesting to see how this thing plays it out. But tonight, just know this. I'm sure he'll be great with empathy because he's really good. His bucket overfloweth with empathy. And he'll come out and he'll say a lot of stuff that people enjoy. Free stuff, which you find out isn't very free. And as we continue to print money, know this. What else happens? Worry of inflation. So then we've got to start raising rates. Raising rates, borrowing goes down. Borrowing goes down. People aren't buying houses. People aren't building houses. People aren't refinancing. When they're refinancing, what are they doing? Paying down some debt, but also doing things with their home. Everything starts to slow. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot into this thing. And again, free money, not very free. But I love the fact that you want to give me free stuff. I know we all do. But somebody's got to pay for free. I think we could do this in a responsible way. And I think that's half the problem with what we have in government is the spending problem. And it's not even just how much we spend. It's where we spend it and how we go about trying to say, hey, there's some checks and balances. This program doesn't work. Instead, we just throw more money at it, which is insane. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. You can tweet at us, absolutely. Text us, Instagram, YouTube channel, and, of course, Facebook. I try to get back to as many people as possible. It's not always possible to do it every day, but I try. Master Class is exactly that. It is a master class. You learn from the world's best of the best. It's 41 cents a day on average. So you go to masterclass.com/Benson. You do that, and you sign up. It's a year annual membership. Works out to be about 41 cents a day. You get a 15% discount. You learn from, I don't know, how about this? James Patterson, best-selling author. It's going to teach you about what it's like to write, how he breaks things down. Phil Ivey's going to teach you poker. How about Hans Zimmer teaching you how to compose? There's so many different things, but it's also about chefs and acting and politics and everything in between. You learned it from the best of the best at Masterclass. Masterclass.com/Benson. Learn for yourself about 41 cents a day. Simple and easy. 20 lessons per class, about 10 minutes per lesson. There's downloadable material. You will not be disappointed. And the worst case scenario, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not really interested in turning my hobby into a career, but I do want to expand my knowledge, this is what it's all about. You'll be a well-rounded human being. Check it out for yourself. Masterclass.com/Benson. Masterclass.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Don't make me wear your mask. Are you trying to kill me? What happens if you have corona?
No need to socially distance while listening to your Chad Benson Show podcast. 4 out of 5 experts say so.
I'm a scientist. There is no corona.
But hurry before they change their mind. You know they will. Chad's podcast found on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite COVID-free podcasts.
Oh my gosh. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Yeah, check us out at Chad Benson Show. Posted some earlier today. I think it's a really insightful man who passed away a few years ago, Arnold Palmer, the greatest of golf all time, says, I'm not much for sitting around and thinking about the past or talking about the past. What does that accomplish? If I can give young people something to think about, like the future, it's a better use of my time. I think in this day and age, we absolutely sit around too much and hyper-focus on the past and not think about how far do we come? What's the future entail? And we want to punish people for things that happened in the past that at the time may have not been anything that anybody cared about. It was no big deal. But we also look back and we continue to punish. And I've always said, and I continue to do so, it's hard to move forward when you're looking backwards. It is. Even an owl who can spin its head around almost all the way very much like Linda Blair, Reagan style in The Exorcist, doesn't fly that way. And we are so hyper-focused on the past. And I hear it all the time because I work with a lot of young, fresh out of college reporters. And it is it's funny to juxtapose the two because we've got a few, I don't say grizzled old vets. We got one really grizzled old vet. He's everything you would think of as a reporter. But then we've got some other more mature in their 40s and 50s and compared to the young ones and the just the look how some want to report more like activists and the other ones just want to give you the who, what, when, how, and why. They'll give you their opinion off the air, but on the air it's just who, what, when, how, and why. And it is funny to look at that in the way that we're moving. And we're going to talk about that because the fairness doctrine was trending yesterday. I don't think people quite get that. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Several weeks ago when I had this feeling of impending doom and I had case rates going up, vaccinations growing but not where we needed to be, and deaths continuing to climb. As I look at the curve now, it's stabilizing, it's coming down. I think we really do need to get more and more people vaccinated, combat the hesitancy that is out there. When those vaccinations continue to soar and the cases plummet, we should be in good shape.
Dr. Rochelle Walensky, CDC director. Should be. Impending doom. Remember when she said, it's impending doom. It's impending doom. It's going to be doomy. It's gloomy. It's impending doom. It's not impending doom. We're getting through this thing. Wasn't perfect. We fought with each other, but that's great. We can get on with our lives. We get on arguing about everything else that we like to argue about because that's what we like to do. What about going outside, Chad? I know the CDC made a big deal about that. Can you go outside?
If you're fully vaccinated and you're outside, whether it's a farmer's market, that parking lot, if you're going to be out there for a long period of time around people, maybe a little bit safer to wear the mask. But otherwise, I think it's fine to go without.
You'll be fine. But what if you'll be fine? But you'll be fine. Don't live your life in what if, but coulda, just you'll be fine. Dr. Jha. And then the controversy came with Joe Rogan because he weighed in. You know, I get asked this because I got both vaccines, but I also had it. And one of the big reasons my partner, who I work on air with, my on-air partner here, not my life partner, he jokes always, dude, thanks for getting the vaccine. Because for him, it's a win, right? It's like it makes him feel good, and I'm totally fine with that. And I don't live in a world of wackiness and wild and weirdness. But I've said, if I'm younger, right, I don't have the kind of responsibilities. You know, I'm in my late teens to mid 20s. I feel fine. I wouldn't get it. What about your son? I don't want him to get it. His mom and I will have a discussion, but I don't think he needs to. I don't think young kids need to get it. So Rogan weighed in on this.
Yeah, I think for the most part it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go, no. Are you a healthy person? Don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. If you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, like, I don't think you need to worry about this.
No, I don't think you do. I don't. And we have this weird, it goes back to when you look at the first of all, there's, numbers. Everything's always in the numbers, right? Like data. We've talked about data. The wisest man in the world could still look foolish if you have the wrong data. That's it. As you start breaking things down, and it's like this with everything. We start talking about crime, and then we talk about crime, black on black, white on white, all these kind of things. We break down police shootings. Well, more white people are killed, yes, but then when you go per capita, but then when you start talking about, we go around, so what's the real? Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. Died with COVID or died because of COVID? Two separate things. If you've got, what are they saying, about 3 to 3.5 comorbidities on average, the people who've passed away with COVID. So this was essentially, you were already in a situation where things weren't great. Then you got something that you just couldn't fight, and there was no treatment for it. As opposed to being 23, walking down the street, you get sick, you start to feel bad, it gets worse, worse, and worse, and all of a sudden your body turns on you and you die, which happens with the flu as well. Died with COVID, died because of COVID. I think we already over-vaccinate in a lot of ways, but we really, we overprescribe, especially with antibiotics. We don't allow the body to do what the body needs to do in so many ways. And I think he's right.
People are worried that you might have to have your children vaccinated. And, I can tell you as someone who's both my children got the virus, it was nothing. I hate to say that. If someone's children died from this, I'm very sorry that happened. I'm not in any way diminishing that. But I'm saying the personal experience that my children had with COVID was nothing. One of the kids had a headache. The other one didn't feel good for a couple days. I mean, not feel good like, no big deal. No coughing, right. No achy, no like in agony. There was none of that. Very mild. It was akin to them getting a cold.
And I get asked all the time about Jack here at work and from listeners. I said, no, I'm not going to. It's 10. I mean, his mom and I will discuss it, but I don't think she is going to be all over it, saying, he should. And he had it. We all got sick. He woke up at like 6 in the morning and said, Dad, I don't feel very good. My stomach hurts. I got a headache. I got the fevers and chills. So we all ended up having it. By 8 o'clock that night, 7, 8, whatever it is, he's like, I feel fine. I'm out back bouncing on the bouncy with all the other kids. I was like, okay. So I know it's not diminishing other people dying, but I just don't think, especially when it comes to kids and especially when it comes to really healthy people, especially younger people in their 20s and teens, I don't think we need it.
You were saying this virtue signaling of I get the vaccine, what a good person I am, I care about everyone. But you're like, look, my daughter's a lot younger than your kids. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not injecting my daughter with something to virtue signal. Right. Like, I'm not doing that. Right. I'm sorry. I'm not taking any experiment on her. That's my attitude toward it.
But it's amazing that that's controversial.
Yeah.
That even saying that I'm not going to inject my child with the vaccine is controversial.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. This is not like measles, mumps, and those kind of things. This is something where it's been shown that it does not really affect children the way it affects adults, and that it's more serious for adults, and the fact that you don't want to get your child vaccinated for something like this, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe. And the virtual signal, I see it. I mean, man, every day I see it with people. Well, you better do your part. And the want for people who don't get vaccinated, the want by the people who've gotten vaccinated to almost see those people get sick, to say, ha, I told you so. I told you so. Now, Fauci had to weigh in.
Young, healthy people shouldn't get vaccinated. Just quickly, your response?
Well, that's incorrect. You're talking about yourself in a vacuum. You're worried about yourself getting infected and likelihood that you're not going to get any symptoms. But you can get infected and will get infected if you put yourself at risk, propagating the outbreak, because it is likely that you, even if you have no symptoms, may inadvertently and innocently then infect someone else who might infect someone who really could have a problem with a severe outcome. Yeah. So if you want to only worry about yourself and not society, then that's okay.
How many people actually worry about society all day? I mean, there are those people out there who that's all they think about. But, I mean, I also can't live, I don't think any of us can live with the fact that when this first came out, it was like, I just don't want to give it to somebody else. That was the big thing. But now it's like, you don't get vaccinated, you kind of hate people. Like, okay. You hate society. You want everybody to die. Is that what it is? I can't have a differing opinion and say, you know what? I feel like my body's the best thing to fight this thing off. No, you can't. You can't. If you don't wear a mask, you hate people. If you don't get vaccinated, you doubly hate people. In fact, you're a killer. That's what you are. Can't have conversations with people like that. It just doesn't work. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Yesterday, the Fairness Doctrine. If you guys don't know what the Fairness Doctrine is, let's not confuse the Fairness Doctrine with equal time rule. All right? So the Fairness Doctrine, equal time rule are totally different. Fairness Doctrine, we got rid of it in 87. And essentially, you saw the rise of conservative radio, and you've seen what's taken, interest. You've seen how that has grown. Take a look at what Rush Limbaugh did and how that spread. A lot of people say, well, this is the issue here with the polarization in America. No, I mean, let's be real. You may have people that are, angry because they're listening to, the Hannitys of the world or the Glenn Becks or NPR. Well, the NPR is different. You don't think that you don't think they lean a little left? Well, I mean, it's different though. It's like, okay. So the Fairness Doctrine, everybody's screaming to bring it back. And all it is essentially, I want to get rid of Fox. That's what it is. Now, I don't watch Fox, but let me tell you something about Fox. None of them on there, the people that are talking, we're not talking about the Fox News. We're talking about Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Greg Gutfeld, and the group there. Although, you've got Juan Williams, who's a liberal, and they have liberals on the show all the time. And, obviously Tucker Carlson, because Tucker is always angry, take off your mask, I dare you, please do it, and stuff like that. He's playing to an audience and pandering, as everybody does, to an audience like that. But that hey, he's like, hey, this is where my bread's buttered, and this is where I'm going to go. And everybody wants to bring this thing back. Why can't we bring it back? Why can't we bring it back? You're not going to bring it back. First of all, I'm going to say a word, and many of you may understand this. Some of you will not. Money. Okay, let's go over this again. Money. It's not going to happen. The lobbyists are too strong. It's too many people who've got too much invested in a lot of things to watch their hundreds of millions of dollars in conservative radio, liberal television. Ooh. Oh, yeah. It's not just Fox, right? Because if you're going to go for the Fairness Doctrine, what do you think is going to happen? You think CNN and MSNBC are going to get a pass? Oh. But what scares me is the fact that people want to get rid of an opposing view. That, to me, is just insane. You want to get rid of it. I don't like your viewpoint. Why? Because it makes me uncomfortable. Why? Because it may be rooted in facts that I just don't like, and so I just don't acknowledge them. Well, that's silly. So rather than debate you on facts, I'm going to allow my feelings to do all of the work, and I would just rather you not be able to participate. And we've seen that with the coronavirus. We see that on a daily basis with everything politically. We see that on issues from trans issues to race to LGBTQ to, you name it. You name it. And so the thought process of bringing the fairness doctrine back, I mean, what are you going to do? You just think that, okay, we're going to get rid of Fox, we'll get rid of Newsmax, and we'll get rid of One America News. And then everything will be great. Oh, okay. So what about MSNBC? Well, they're fine, because I believe in what they say. Well, no. Now we're going to have to make it all fairness. Oh, CNN? Yeah. Fairness? Yeah. Everybody else? Well, what do you mean? Well, no, if that's what you want. You don't get to just choose the side of fairness you want. And I wish people pay better attention. And younger generation, I'm telling you guys right now, learn to think for yourself, learn to do some form of discovery of something you're interested in, like you would as your attorney, where you research something and look and say, is there two sides to this story, or is my side, who's telling me the story, giving me everything, or maybe is there something else out there? The fairness doctrine. I couldn't even. What would that even look like today? So you get rid of Tucker, or you keep Tucker, and what do you balance it out with somebody? So it's going to be like those shows used to be. You have to have opposing. I don't know. What's that look like? You know who does the fairest job? Bill Maher. Why does he do a fairest job? Because Bill Maher brings on everybody. And you know what's great about Bill Maher? He's willing to listen to everybody. Doesn't have to agree. But what I like about Bill Maher, and he talks about it all the time, Republicans will come on his show, knowing that everybody in the audience really doesn't like him and doesn't like what they stand for. On the other side of things, you don't find that very often on the other side. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. My Pillow is got the My Slippers. I've got some behind me, actually. People at work wanted them, and I've got some My Slippers, and I'm telling you guys right now, it's got the faux suede, it's got fur inside, so it's got faux fur. It's got real suede and leather, but it's got the faux fur, and you put your foot in, you're like, oh, my Lord. Oh, this is so nice. 3 different levels when it comes to the sole and the cushion. So you've got the MyPillow patented fill, you've got the amazing memory foam, and then they've got the soft gel made out of soybeans right here in the United States of America. It is incredible. Wear them indoors, outdoors, several different colors to choose from. 40% off right now. You can wear them all day, and I'm telling you, you will not go wrong. My Slippers from MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Take advantage of all the deep discounts on all of their products, from their Giza Dream Sheets to their towels to their amazing mattress topper and, of course, the pillows. But get these My Slippers for 40% off now. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Helen Keller is a Nazi terrorist that is a male. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hitler?
Who's Hitler?
Vaccines work, but only the Chad Benson Show is 100% effective against stupidity.
Do you know what D-Day is? D-Day.
In person? A rapper?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite woke-free podcasts. This is the Chad Benson Show.
I still love that clip. Rapper? D-Day's a rapper? Is that a rap? Helen Keller? Yeah, you know, the guy that stormed the beaches in Normandy to with the Germans to fight America, along with the Chinese and the Swedes? What? I don't think you get it. I really don't. I'm glad. Good. You know what you need to do? You need to go vote. That's why I think maybe we should look at voting in a different way. Maybe we should just start telling people, like, we need to have a test. Just something simple. Right? Just a test. And if you can pass these things, you're good to go. Well, that would be stupid, Chad, and unfair. Unfair. Speaking of unfair, she speaks.
But can't you see?
Brittney Spears wants to talk. That's the message the singer's lawyer conveyed to the court Tuesday afternoon in a hearing over the conservatorship that controls her affairs and finances. No specifics on what Spears wants to say when she addresses the court, but the judge set a date for the appearance, June 23rd in downtown Los Angeles. The last time Spears spoke to the court was 2 years ago, and it was a closed hearing. The singer has experienced an outpouring of support this year after the release of a documentary examining the conservatorship, among other things.
Yeah, it's people are like, oh, good. Brittney, she's going to get her life back. And then I go and I'll follow her on Twitter and Instagram and I'll watch her. And I'm like, no, she's not. All you have to do is walk up and just show her Instagram stuff and go, Judge? He's like, no. It's not very nice. It's just, you're just a meanie. It's free Brittney. From what? Everybody acts like she is nothing. My goodness me. I can't wait, though. It is fascinating. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We are talking about huge numbers. $200 billion for universal pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds, 2 years of free community college, $225 billion for subsidized childcare. That's for low-income working families, paid family and medical leave for up to 12 weeks. Officials are saying this would save the average American family $13,000.
That's a lot of spending. We love spend dollars. We're going to spend a ton of it. Get ready for it. That's what they would like to do. Biden tonight addressing joint session, Congress. They're going to talk about, hey, you guys are all going to be together. Great. Glad you're here. Okay, let's talk about all the money we're going to spend. Free. Ooh, I like free. Yeah. Tell me more. More free. Free. Oh, yeah, more. Free. How are we going to pay for it? Not my money. So who cares? I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. So we're going to pay for kids to go to pre-K. Okay. Free. How expensive is junior college? Just how expensive is 13th grade? Producer Phil, do you know how expensive 13th grade is?
No, I don't.
Oh, my God. How about this? Just share a book. We're going to give everybody free community college. I'm like, I thought it was free. Well, no, it costs. What's it cost? I don't know. How much you got? Cash? Yeah, $28. Okay, you're in. What's that cover? Whole year. So we're going to cover all of that. Of course, you got to pay for it. How do you do it?
The price tag for President Biden's American Family Plan, $1.8 trillion. $1 trillion would go to spending on programs, things like universal preschool and free community college, while $800 billion will go to tax cuts for middle and lower income Americans. The big question, how will this be paid for? The Biden White House says it would raise the income tax rate on the top 1% of earners, increase the capital gains tax for households making over $1 million, close inheritance loopholes, and increase tax audits for the wealthy.
There you go. Translation, we're going to go get it somewhere else. Well, how do you feel about that? Look, I think it's not about taxes. It's about how taxes are spent. We're going to close loopholes. We're going to do more auditing of wealthy people. And the loopholes of you've earned this, right? So you build your family business. You sell it. Or maybe you decide I'm going to give it to the kids, or I'm going to do, I've built this entire, this amazing vast amount of wealth, which in today's world, everybody looks at wealth in a different thing. There's a difference between being rich and being, wealthy, being comfortable. It also depends on where you live. Right? You make $200,000 in California and you live in San Francisco, you're probably renting a room from somebody. What? You make $200,000 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, you're probably doing all right. You are. Well, I find that to be ridiculous. It's not the same everywhere. So you're going to go do all this, and of course, the wealth tax or the inheritance tax has always befuddled me. Why should you get free money? First of all, it wasn't free; it's already been taxed. Secondly, my dad, my mom, my family has left it. By the way, my family's left me nothing, and I'm okay with that. Not like we're my mom and them, they get the other kids and everything. I don't need anything. I don't want for anything. I never have. I'm a do-it-myself kind of person. But if she did want to leave, why do something that's already been taxed have to be taxed again? It's funny, when we talk about Scandinavia, it's like, we should be more like Scandinavia. Okay, well, they don't have a wealth tax. What do you mean? You want all the parts that you think, hey, this raises taxes and does a lot of great things. And then you're like, hey, they have school choice, no wealth tax. Wait, what? No, we want wealth tax. And we don't want school choice. You want to pick and choose. We'll find out. Do I think it has a shot? No. Does it sound good? Yeah. And much like telling everybody you're going to give them free stuff, guess what people like? They like free stuff. Wait, hold on. What do you mean they like free stuff? Yeah, you tell everybody, hey, guess what? I'm going to give you, I'm running for school class president. I'm giving everybody the afternoon off. And, you start going through stuff, and then people are like, I like that. I like that. Do I think we need to do something with education, especially for the younger children? Absolutely. Do I think working parents need some breaks in certain situations? I sure do. Those things I'm not arguing with, but it's how we spend them, and that's going to be the problem. So much of this is, it sounds like a great idea, and then the implementation, the money doesn't go where it needs to go. It goes to programs that fail or don't work the way they're supposed to. And then we continue to throw more money at it because it's never enough. It's just never enough. What do you mean it's never? When is a program? I was discussing this yesterday with a couple of people. Climate change is a perfect example. Climate change has become political. Science had no choice but to get into the game of politics because science is funded in majority by grants from a lot of different institutions. So what are you supposed to do? If you don't believe in something, or you're not in the I'm going to scare you to death phase of the world like a lot of people, but you also know you need your funding. So are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? No. It's the same thing with programs. It's one of the reasons why you look at government, they spend money like it's going out of style, and everybody overspends so they can go back and say we need more. Because if you come back to them and say, hey, you gave us $100 billion and we only used $80 billion. We still have $20 billion left. They're going to go, well, the next year we're only going to give you $80. But if you go and say, I spent $110 billion, we went over budget, I need more, they're probably going to give you more. Never ask, what are the results like? Did it work? Nah, it didn't work, but we need more. That went poorly. Can you give us more? And that's the frustrating thing. I think for a lot of people out there, you look at taxes, and I think if you told people, look, here's the deal. You're going to pay X amount in taxes, make it simple, but you get to decide where the tax money goes. So your choice is there, right? And these are the things that you can choose from. And they give you a menu, right? So go to defense, It can go to programs. It can go to, and like some Social Security and Medicare and everything. That stuff's going to be kept on the side. But this amount of money here that you have left over, you get to allocate it for where it goes. And you get a receipt on how those things are doing. So next year, if you're like, man, this program is producing nothing, I don't want to give my money to that. That'd be kind of interesting. Oh, that would be. But those are results, and results-oriented things, especially in government, people aren't interested in it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program to mask or not to mask. Yesterday we were told, don't worry about masking if you're fully vaccinated, nowhere near anybody. And even if you are with people and they're fully vaccinated, as long as it's somebody you know. No, wait. No, that's not it, Chad. I thought we could wear a mask outdoors. I don't know.
If you're fully vaccinated and you're outdoors and not in a big crowd, you no longer need to wear a mask. I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
All right, so you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside. So you're wearing a mask if you're outside, if you're at a concert or a conference. They have to explain this to you because apparently you've lost the ability to decipher. Hey, I'm in a room full of 100 people I've never met before, and there's a dangerous virus that's going around that probably won't kill me, but would make my life miserable for a few weeks, and I don't know if I want to be a part of this. I think I'm just going to step outside. You are incapable of making that, so they have to explain it to you. Or, hey, it's okay for you to take your mask off. You're outside on a walk with your dog. I was listening. I'm like, who wears a mask? I was driving home the other night because I just kind of get in the zone, right? And a lot of times I drive home, I don't have there's no music on. I just kind of veg, just driving. I was kind of like being observant and looking around. I saw 4 or 5 people driving around alone in their car wearing a mask. Who's that for? Like, what is that about? Like, what do you think is going to happen to you between there and your house? This is very interesting. And that's part of the theater. And yesterday, he walked up, he had his sunglasses on, right? And he did the theater-like-esque thing. And somebody asked him a question about, hey, the mask thing, this whole thing, why are you wearing a mask out here?
If the risk is so low outdoors, why doesn't this new guidance apply to everybody?
Because the science indicates that the most certain way to make sure it doesn't spread if both people have been vaccinated, the people you're with, and you're outside.
And you chose to wear a mask, sir. You chose to wear a mask because you walked out here. What message were you sending by wearing a mask outside alone?
By watching me take it off and not put it back on until I get inside.
Theater. Yeah, a lot of it's theater. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing. It's sometimes not even, like, no matter, the truth matters very little. The theater matters more. Could have walked out. Nobody's around you. You've been vaccinated. Everybody around you's been vaccinated. It feels very theatrical. Maybe I'm wrong, but, washing everything down. Remember that at the beginning of this? Everybody's washing stuff down. Oh, my God, wash your hands 415 times a day. People got to the point where it's like, I don't have any skin left. I just have my bones. Every time you walk in a room and you touch something, could be. My on-air partner from my other show, he wiped a banana down. It's like, it's crazy. It's theatrics. And then when you find out, the CDC's like, yeah, that stuff, really, you don't have to worry about that now. Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Raycon, best earbuds around. Summertime's here. Summertime is here. You're going to be out, right? Spring's in full, but man, we can see it. You want to get that summer body ready. You want to be out and about, working out. You want to be ready to rock and roll. And that's why you want yourself some Raycons. Best earbuds around. Right? Maybe you just need a distraction. Maybe you just want to unplug. relax. This is what it's all about. Noise isolating fit. The talk time is through the roof. So you get 6 hours of play time and then some. Like 24 hours play. I mean, I tell you guys this. I charge him, and I don't charge him. I go play golf, do all kinds of stuff, work out. I don't charge him for 2, 3, 4 days sometimes. It's nuts. Great colors and styles. Noise isolating fit. The sound design is incredible. I'm telling you, you can spend $200, $300, $400 on other wireless earbuds and think these brands are great because they got this. Raycon blows them out of the water. For the price, you'll find nothing close, and they give you a money-back guarantee. Try them for 45 days. You don't like them? Your happiness guarantee, send them back. Save big. They start well under $100, but check out all of the amazing, incredible products at Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad to save an extra 15% on the best earbuds around. Chad Benson Show.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old intranet. What's trending? Let's take a peek, see what's been trending for the last 24 hours. We do this on Google Trends as well as Twitter. Find out what's happening. Hashtag Tucker Carlson must go is on Twitter. Of course it is. Because he has to go, right? Because he said something I didn't like, so he has to go. Shit. It's not very nice, Chad. Joe Rogan's trending because he said, look, if you're 21 and you're healthy, no, don't go get a vaccine. And of course, that sent everybody up in arms because how dare you say something like that? Because we all know that you shouldn't say something like that. New York Post is trending. Journalist Laura Italiano says she was... Well, she was basically told and ordered to write an incorrect story about Kamala Harris. She failed to push back hard enough. She's now handed in her resignation. New York Post is pushing back on that. Head on over to the magical world of Google. Things are different. Why? Because there's other stuff. Handmaid's Tale is trending. Yeah, because that's coming out. I think it's tonight. Champions League. This one's great. Kid growing up, man, I got soccer 1 hour a week on television by a guy who lived, I think, in Washington State, who got videos from the German Bundesliga, and they were on like the NPR-like stations, right? And CB, the whatever those things are called. You give donations, I always forget. And he would take the tapes and do voiceovers of the game. That was all I got. Now, everything. Champions League, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Christian Pulisic, all led yesterday here in America. All led in searches. I find that just, to me, I look up and I'm like, what? Logan Paul is trending. Douche canoe? Absolutely. Going to fight Mayweather? Yep. The on-again, off-again fight will be on again. I think a lot of people are hoping that he gets knocked the blank out. 44-year-old Mayweather has a 50-0 record, likes doing these things. So lots of fights going on with YouTube celebrity stars. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Big, huge night. Biden going to address the nation as well as Congress about what's going on, what his plan is. He's got a big plan for everybody. Stuff.
President Biden tonight will lay out the details of his American family plan, what the White House is calling a, quote, once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's future. The $1.8 trillion proposal would create universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, a step the White House says will benefit 5 million children and save the average family $13,000 a year. The plan also calls for 2 years of free community college and a national paid family and medical leave program.
And a lot of other stuff. A ton of other stuff. This isn't infrastructure. This isn't any of that stuff. How do I feel about early childhood development? I think it's an absolute must. 110%. Other westernized, wealthy nations do it. It benefits us. The quicker and faster our kids get a head start, the better it is. I got zero problems with that. My problem with it's junior college. I don't know how much 13th grade cost. It's been a long time, but I don't think it costs that much. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm like, dude, you don't understand. It costs like $200. Okay. I don't know. I didn't even know they took money. You guys get paid for this? Chad's not very nice. It's junior college. Doesn't it feel sad? It's junior college. Oh, you weren't smart enough to go to regular college? Again, stop being me. What's the cost of junior college? I didn't know it was that expensive. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong. I could be like so out there. I know books can be expensive. So, like $2,000? In some places, other places, it's more. It really, again, it goes back to, I just didn't know junior college was, again, I didn't even know they got paid for that. Used to go and pay for, the class. I'm signing up for a class. What class? I'm signing up for this class. All right. I know the books can be expensive because that's how they make their money. They screw you with those books. College is free, right? It's like, hey, the car, you get it for free. Oh, but the key costs $25,000. Oh, I'll just take the car. Don't worry about it. We're going to strip it anyways. Thanks. But I do agree, absolutely, on early childhood development. From the inner cities to, and this is where, you look at me and you say, well, we shouldn't have to pay for it. No, we need to because it helps us in the long run. We need that. We need a remakeover of our entire school system where we start teaching for the future and not the past. We start looking at where we need to be and where we're going to be as opposed to where we were. Well-rounded is sounds great, but the reality of it is I think you get to a certain age and it's time that we start thinking about, okay, you know what? You guys are 16. So like they do in Europe, so in England, in the UK, you get to 16 and, you get your A levels and your O levels and that would be kind of where you hit like what would be considered your senior year, right around 15, 16. Then your choice is, do you want to go on to, polytechnic or uni or a sixth form college? So junior college-esque in some ways. Or, like a lot of people, a majority is, do you want to go to one of these schools with a emphasis on a certain thing where you're going to be an apprentice and you're going to move in a certain direction? I think that's fantastic. Those are all things that I think we need to look at across the board. The indoctrination, the crap that goes on in our schools. I think enough is enough. It's a breeding ground for idiocracy is what it is anymore. Too much. In saying that, when we start developing children younger, We start helping them learn faster. It gives them advantage to when they get into kindergarten and then into first, second, and third grade, and they have a running start. And it makes everything easier and better. And it improves the quality of their life, which improves the quality of people around them, which continues to see growth, which benefits us all in the long run. Will we overpay for it? Of course we will. It's government. So I keep telling my uncle, we do all the stuff for the private sector. We need to start doing government stuff because you could charge anything. It's not their money. Case in point, the amount of money we're going to spend tonight, or he's going to ask everybody to spend, is insane. We're in the midst of, we're coming out of, my belief is we're coming out of a deep economic middle-class recession because the uppers, they ain't felt it. And as we come out of this, I don't know if we need to be saying, all right, we're going to do $1.8 trillion over here. We're going to take another God knows how much for infrastructure. And then we're thinking about doing yet again another stimulus because people are already crying for it. And if you do another one, I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to be the last. Just like the last one wasn't. At some point, got to say no mas. No more, please. I can't believe you want universal health care. It's a smart thing to do. I look at stuff like I look at prisons. I'm thinking we spend a lot of money keeping people locked up who really aren't a threat to society because we want to be tough on crime. I want to lock up bad people and keep them there. That costs us money. We should be investing in helping people change their lives, grow their lives. That's 100% we should be doing if we're going to be spending some of these money on programs, and we should have accountability with inside the programs. So if it doesn't work, we don't throw more money at it. And there's a difference between we're seeing improvement, but it's not where we want it to be, to it keeps floundering and we keep asking for more money and we're doing the same thing over and over again. There's a lot that we should be looking at. Nobody wants to look at those things because things that take time in an instantaneous world, we want no part of. Things that take time, whether it's losing weight or mastering something. I mean, my son is a perfect example, as are most of your kids and probably all of us at one time or another. If it's hard and it's going to be like, what do you mean? I can't go to the gym for a week and then see immaculate results? No. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that then. Like Jack, if he doesn't master something in 2 minutes, I don't want to play this game anymore. It's nuts. This will take time, but I think what we get on the other side of it is going to be way better for all of us. But the spending the money, the way that they want to spend the money, you can't have everything. You want to do infrastructure? Great. You want to give health care or child care to some people? We can cut some stuff out of infrastructure, add it into here. The thought of $2 trillion over here, $1.8 trillion over there, $2 trillion over here. I know. He's about going big, right? Why do we have to make it bigger? We got to go bigger. We got to spend more money. That comes at a cost as well. That absolutely comes at a huge, huge cost when we're printing money, we're borrowing money against the future. Then we're going to have to start, raising rates, fighting inflation, potential of a huge slowdown. It's crazy.
The need to do more to prepare for pandemics, the need to do more to ensure women can stay in the workforce, the need to do more to invest in industries that are going to have jobs of the future. And that, we can't afford not to go big in this moment.
But we also have to be realistic about going big. And I think that's just what government doesn't do, because government's all about, everybody can do stuff. No, some people can't do some stuff. A lot of people can't. So what is your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do we teach to that? How do we get from point A to point B and start identifying, hey, this person's strength is this person's weakness is that, and teaching for tomorrow as opposed to today. Well-rounded's great, but indoctrination's not, and some of the stuff that we're doing is in school is insane. And, we got to go big. We got to teach about the technology. It's like not everybody can be a coder. We always laugh about that. Like, teach people to code. Some people can. But you think you're just going to take somebody off the street and like, hey, I know you're a coal miner and you only know how to, you can kind of get on the web, but not really. Hey, we're going to teach you how to code. Probably not going to work. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. The mask has been unmasked.
These new guidelines have less restrictions for 3 reasons. There's decreasing COVID cases. There's increasing population of people vaccinated, currently at around 50%. And the data and the science, the studies have shown that vaccines work.
Thank you, Dr. Grabagabarian. I probably said that wrong, but that's the way it is. I just find that stupid. Like, of course we know vaccines work. Not a lot of people around going, man, did you see Jim's got polio? What? You don't find that. Who could have? Again, insane to think that. But on top of that, the science, it's funny, like the science says that vaccines work, which I don't know if I needed, But on top of that, the other science said, well, masks really don't work. Huh? Yeah, it really doesn't, because the virus itself is so small that it can penetrate. So it's about time spent in certain places, exposing yourself to certain things, and that's more important. 6 feet or 60 feet, none of that stuff matters. There's just things that go into that, but we'll still continue to mask up. We'll still continue to be part of the show because it's more important than having that conversation about, because government never says, we got that wrong. Good, we screwed that up. They'll just keep going on. Don't tell them we did it wrong. Put more money at it. Look like we're trying. It's sinking. We'll tell everybody it's part of the experience. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Your love, your hate. Car Shield gives you 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in said shop if your car has an issue. And you're going to choose the shop so you can feel comfortable knowing I'm taken to a place that I trust. They're not sticking me with one of their mechanics who are just going to do anything they can to get the car back out on the road, and that's that. They fix it right because you trust them. That's what's great about Car Shield. Over 1 million drivers have been helped. They're ready to help you. America's #1 auto protection company. We got several tiers, right? And plans that start as low as $99 a month. People are keeping their cars longer. But as we all know, as you start to think you're getting ahead, what does your car like to do? Oh, hold on, I got to turn the check engine light on. That's why you need Car Shield. Go to carshield.com today. Carshield.com. Use code Benson. See all of the great, amazing programs they have. Save 10% when you use that code Benson. That's carshield.com, code Benson. Carshield.com, code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
In just 86 days, the Olympics are scheduled to begin in Tokyo, but a new survey by Kyodo News indicates organizers are still struggling to win public support. Over 70% of Japanese citizens want the games to be canceled or delayed because of the pandemic. Only a quarter of Japanese saying they want the Olympics to go forward right now. The poll coming out after new, tougher rules were just put into place in Japan to halt the rise of COVID.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. So, how much are they going to lose? It's already the most expensive summer games in the history of the Olympics. We could hold a summer game tomorrow. And let me tell you how this works, guys, for those of you guys who don't understand. Two things happen. I don't know if the Olympics will be canceled. I don't know if it'll be held in Japan. They do two things. Who held it last? Okay. Rio, can you guys do it again if we need to? No, they're a hot mess. Everybody's backup, always 110% is America, you have the infrastructure to do it. Because we have stadiums in place. That's the big thing. A lot of these, they host the World Cup and they host these things. And like Qatar's getting ready to host the World Cup. Thanks to all their slave labor, they built all these stadiums. What? Yeah. So they're building stadiums. We have stadiums. We have everything you need in a heartbeat. You could host it in Los Angeles. You could host it in Chicago. You could host it in New York. You could host it in Miami. You could host it in Dallas. You could host it anywhere. We have the facilities. But would you want to? It's a big question. Rio, they can't. They're a hot mess. That's a hot mess in Brazil. But for Tokyo, the amount of money they've lost, why would you want to host any of these things? I mean, it used to be you hosted an Olympics because you were going to look into the country. You were going to get to see things that you would never see before. You were going to see all these amazing things, and they were going to show you these incredible stories and places and all. We have the internet. We have 400 channels at our disposal on TV. 100 of them are travel channels with a lot of ghost shows, but still. Bidding for the Olympics, and you see it now, nobody's running to bid for it anymore like they used to. Japan was the last one where the Olympic Committee could take huge advantage. So, you know who I think they should give it to? North Korea. Just everybody show up one day. Hey, we were told to be here. Just every athlete all dressed up. Well, what do you guys do? We're here. We were told. You didn't get it. We thought. Did NBC and Sky and the BBC, Sky Australia, and Das Sport? They didn't tell you? Yeah, we're doing the Olympics here. No, yeah, it's gonna be fun though. You guys are already having parades. We're just gonna join in with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. I think it's a great idea. We'd bring the world together and we'd piss him off. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
How much will this cost us tonight? The price tag, Biden's speech, is going to be big.
$1.8 trillion. The White House says they're going to pay for this by raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans. We're talking about the top 1% of earners, people who make over $1 million. And they're also going to do this by closing tax loopholes and stepping up tax enforcement.
Yeah. 1.8 trillion. So what are we getting out of it? We're getting some stuff that I find intriguing because people already blasted me because I've been talking about junior college. You know how expensive junior college is? I'm like, I have no idea. First of all, I'm 50. I went to junior college for like a few semesters. God knows how long ago. I don't know. I don't even want to date myself. Like 28 years ago or something. It was a long time ago. Secondly, and I only did that because to do some internships when I was during my off season of recuperating back here from England, I had to do that. So I took a few classes, and that was it. I didn't take anything else. But I still didn't think it was like super expensive. We were just all chatting about it. Again, they get you with the books, but they want to give free that. So free 2-year junior college. Here's something else. When it comes to paid family leave, they want to add that in there. But one thing that I do agree with is early childhood development. So pre-K. Sending kids to school pre-K. I got zero problems with that. I don't. I don't have any problems with that. I think we need to. I think we need to invest in kids. I think there's smarter things that we can do if we don't care who gets the credit. Unfortunately, life is about keeping score, and that goes with the people on the internet as well as your constituents and the people you work with.
President Biden is preparing for his first address to a joint session of Congress as new details emerge about a sweeping child care and education plan he's expected to unveil. ABC News has learned the bill will provide free preschool for all 3- and 4-year-old children.
Zero problem with that. But chat, I don't have a problem with that. The better we can start our kids on the right path, the better it is for us in society and down the road. It's the kindergarten through 12th grade where we need a massive overhaul. But I think I get zero problem with that.
The White House says the average family would save $13,000. The president is also expected to call for free community college for all Americans. And he wants to make permanent the temporary extension of the Affordable Care Act.
It's $1.8 trillion. About $1 trillion is going to go towards some things like childcare and preschool, towards community college, towards a few of these things. And there's going to be other stuff in there. Of course, it's called the Family Act, right? It's the family plan, the American Family Plan. Because you put that, it makes it sound nice. I'm not a hard ass when it comes to, I think people think, oh, the taxing the rich, you're just like another one of these people. No, tax them. You think they're going to pay it? Well, they're going to find more people to audit it. They're so far behind right now. And you're closing things that are legal. There's ways of going about doing it. If we were honest about fixing taxes, if you're honest about doing a lot of this stuff that we could do, but it takes away the battle. And politics, as we all know, they don't want to take away the battle. They enjoy the battle. The battle is what makes them relevant to other people. That's what makes them relevant. But sending kids to pre-K, and no problem with that. How are we going to pay for it? Well, of course they're going to raise taxes. And what's going to happen? Well, it depends on the taxes they raise. Is it going to be capital gains taxes? Because what you're going to find before they go in and enact that, people are going to move their money around, which is going to send the market tumbling, which is going to get people to pay attention that their 401k is disappearing because people are flighting to safer tax havens and putting their money and investing it in other things. The more money we print, the worry about inflation. And this isn't even infrastructure. That's still sitting out there, by the way. Infrastructure. So we're already talking about $1.8 trillion on this. They're talking about another round of checks going out. And then we got to talk about infrastructure. How are we going to pay for something? I mean, the amount of, I know he wants to go big. This is time to go big. We don't go smaller, we go big. And as much as Trump and the Republicans pretend that they don't like going big, they go big in certain areas, and they will spend with the best of them. But this is extra special.
We've got to agree on the scope of what's going to be included in the bill and figure out the cost. They're pretty far apart. I mean, it's $1.6 trillion difference between what the Republicans have proposed and what the Democrats have proposed. So we need to right-size the proposal and define infrastructure, figure out what that cost is, and then come up with the pay-fors. And that's really the main sticking point. I mean, we've reached a tremendous amount of agreement between Democrats and Republicans, but how we're going to pay for it is the one that's going to require quite a bit of back and forth in the House and the Senate.
Which is what it's always about. That's Governor Larry Hogan, Maryland. How do we pay for this? For infrastructure, you want how much? Well, we're offering you this. How do we go and raise money? Does everybody have skin in the game, or are we only asking one group of people to have skin in the game and to pay for this stuff? What's in infrastructure? Are we talking about building roads, bridges, things of that nature, or are we going to put other things inside of there that are just like we've talked about? Look and see what's inside the bill. They'll name it something fuzzy, and then they'll put a bunch of crap in there. And if you don't go along with saving the penguins, people are like, you hate penguins.
Some people are saying only about 200 million of it is actually roads and bridges. But anything that we talk about building, repairing, either physically or digitally, you could stretch it to about half of what the package is. But the other stuff really has nothing to do with infrastructure. None of them are talking about that. What they're talking about is just focused on actual infrastructure and how we find a way to find that common ground to pay for it. But there's no question that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the Biden administration has a completely different perspective.
Yeah, of course, because you put in what you can. That's why this $1.8 trillion he's going to roll out tonight, and it matters to us because we're going to see taxes go up. Well, Chad, your taxes or my taxes may not go up. No, they may not in the way that you think, but things are going to get more expensive. People are going to pull their money out investment-wise and put it other places. They won't be investing so much in their companies and the expansion of their companies. They'll learn to do more with less, and if they do more or stay steady, they'll pass it on to the customers. These are all things that need to be thought of. How do you get creative to pay for stuff without saying, hey, we're just going to a certain group? Because I've always believed tax, great. Let people have a say where the taxes go. My idea, because I'm an idea person. We solved the Olympics earlier. If you guys didn't hear, check out the podcast. But I'll tell you this. Move it out of Japan. Put it in North Korea. We don't even tell them we're coming. Just everybody shows up on the same day. They all fly to South Korea. Everybody gets in buses, and we just show up and knock on the door. Start playing. It's great. How about this for taxes? Certain amount goes to Social Security, right? Like the things. The things you can't touch. Social Security, Medicare. Certain amount. Right there. All right, now what? Well, you get to say your X amount of dollars. Well, maybe you can put 10% over here into this, right? This program. Maybe I'll put 15% over here in this. And I want a receipt, and I want to know how those programs are going, because next year if they suck, maybe I don't want you guys to. If Americans actually had say, you watch what would happen. But we got to be creative. Everybody should have skin in the game. Everybody should. Asking everybody, hey, how would you like free money and somebody else to pay for it? Who's going to say no to that? People who understand isn't free might. But by and large, most people, they'll be like, duh.
We should separate out all of this other family infrastructure they're talking about and all these massive tax hikes on the rich and on corporations. There's trillions of dollars of private sector capital willing to invest in infrastructure. So it's not just about taxing folks. In our state of Maryland, we're building the largest P3 transit system in North America and the largest P3 highway system in the world with private sector dollars. So it's not all about raising the capital gains tax, taxing the rich. But, our state of Maryland made that mistake before I became governor. We taxed everybody at a higher rate, and they all stopped paying taxes in Maryland. Some of them moved out of the state.
Yep. Your money will go farther in the private sector than it will in the public sector. So you have partnerships. I got an interesting story about a company that I did some stuff with up in when I was in Sacramento. And what they did comparatively to the public side of things. how they worked, how fast it was, how you see when there is money on the line and through that money, you're going to be held accountable comparatively to it's as much money as we need and nobody's going to be held accountable, what that looks like. We'll touch on that because I think it is important how we pay for all this stuff. Because I don't know about you, I think a lot of people like cheap money. Buying houses, refinancing, paying off debt, getting cars, doing all those things. People enjoy that. We've got a situation right now where we're motoring along. And during the pandemic, do we really want to take a chance to upend that at this moment in time? Not saying we don't spend money. I say we spend it wisely rather than abundantly. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. How about this? I'm going to offer you a product for free. You got to pay for shipping. And the whole goal is you put it to the test. They're going to lose money to prove their point. Well, that doesn't seem like good business. Rough Greens knows what they have. Take it from me. My dog Doodle is happier and healthier. We were talking about him last night. I'm hoping he's got another 3-4 years in him. When we adopted him, we thought he was like 6. Found out he was like 9. We thought we were going to put him to sleep last year. We started to give him the supplement K9 VitaSmart from Rough Greens. Sprinkle it on his food. We're 16 months or so, give or take, into this. Happier and healthier than he's ever been since we've had him. His coat is great. His arthritic hips, his fatty tumors, his sore joints, you don't even notice it. He runs around with the puppies. He is hilarious. Can't see. They can't fix that. But he is loving life. And, again, happier than he's ever been. Try it. It's got omega-3, 6, 9. Probiotics, vitamins, minerals, vegetables. Put it to the test. Sprinkle it on your dog's food. Try it. Doesn't work? Doesn't cost you a thing. You pay for shipping. That's it. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, man!
You haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
There's increasing data that suggests that most of transmission is happening indoors rather than outdoors. Less than 10% of documented transmission in many studies have occurred outdoors. We also know that there's almost a 20-fold increased risk of transmission in the indoor setting and the outdoor setting. That, coupled with the fact that we now have 37% of people over the age of 18 fully vaccinated, motivated our change in guidance. As noted, this is the third time we've changed our guidance.
Doctor, CDC Director, Rachel Walensky. You don't have to wear a mask outside? No. Who was? They have new guidance about masking up outdoors. Now, I don't know about you. I never really have. I know. Like if I go into a store and they want me to mask up, I will. And I've done that for the last, umpteen months. Not that I go to a lot of stores, because I really don't. Not my life. But when I go play golf, I'll walk in and the place, one of the places I play at a lot, because they give me great leeway, kind of let me have a run of the course. I'm gonna say it's an older community as far as, it's not like everybody there's 90, but it's like a 55 and older community. And I wear my mask in there. And then when I get out on the course, I don't wear my mask in. I was never going to do that. I thought that was to be silly. But the fact that they're having to come out and tell us this is bizarre. And, of course, it all comes with, little caveats here and little hold on a second.
small gatherings, medium-sized gatherings, when they are unvaccinated, you're at risk. You have people who are at risk of severe disease. So we do believe in those settings, masks should still occur. Certainly, any activity is less risky when you have more ventilation, more space between people, more people wearing masks if they're unvaccinated. But again, I'd go back to the primary principles of being outdoors in general and wearing masks outdoors until you have a vaccine.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. Whatever. I just look at. I scratch my head. Some of the stuff that it's bizarre. It's like, okay, first of all, like if you go to a concert, who's going to a concert? New Zealand did. You know, we talked about New Zealand had a concert, 50,000 people. I think it was called 660, the band. They're like a huge band in Down Under. And listening to them, I'm going to throw this out there. They're the Down Under version of Nickelback. And nobody had masks, 50,000 people. There was a huge AFL game, Aussie Rules football game, I think, this past weekend, over 100,000 people there. It's easier when you're on an island. They're not wearing masks. We're not having those things yet. We're not. So that's a moot point. Let us know when we get to that point where we are all going to concerts. God, concerts are being announced for like 2023. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Others who are vaccine hesitant, and I know there are some reasons for it. Pregnant women, okay, fine. But for people just to say, I don't want to take it for no good reason, that's ridiculous. That's actually stopping people from being able to relax other guidelines and the mask guidelines because you're not vaccinated. So I don't want you around one of my loved ones or anyone who may have a pre-existing condition because you just don't want to do it. Have some good reason other than you just don't want to do it because you make it worse for all of us.
Their choice, right? Their body, their choice. Well, yeah, but you could make me sick. But it's their body. They don't want to put something in them. I got no problem with that. Sour lemon, as Anthony put on the sheet. You're vaccinated. Other people are vaccinated. You've got the wall to stop the virus from infecting you. Well, you could get it. But because you have the vaccine, it also mitigates, if you do happen to get it, really any of the damage. So why are we stopping? Why do people who have the vaccine have to be beholden to people who, and it's funny, I what makes me laugh is when I talk to people who are mad at people who don't want to get the vaccine, outside of people who are like, look, you know, you can have an allergic reaction. There's just, there are people out there medically can't, and for some it's religion. But outside of that, some people just like, they don't want to get it. They feel they're healthy. They don't need to. Joe Rogan, I know, caused a stir because he dared say something about the vaccine.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go, no. Are you a healthy person? Don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. If you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, like, I don't think you need to worry about this.
Dr. Fauci? I had to address this, of course.
Young, healthy people shouldn't get vaccinated. Just quickly, your response?
Well, that's incorrect. You're talking about yourself in a vacuum. You're worried about yourself getting infected and likelihood that you're not going to get any symptoms. but you can get infected and will get infected if you put yourself at risk, propagating the outbreak, because it is likely that you, even if you have no symptoms, may inadvertently and innocently then infect someone else who might infect someone who really could have a problem with a severe outcome. Yeah. So if you want to only worry about yourself and not society, then that's okay.
We're at like 7 degrees of bacon here at this point with that. It's like, no. What we need is, hey, people, just curious. You don't want to get vaccinated, but you don't think this thing's really a big deal. So not wearing a mask and living your life normal, even if it puts you at risk, you're fine with. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm willing. I take a risk every day. Okay. Well, then let's get on with our lives. Shouldn't be that simple. It's not going to be. People are just licking their chops. Woo, Nelly. Oh, baby, we could ride this thing out for a little bit longer. Oh, yes, we can. They will. They will. I don't care if you do or don't get vaccinated. I don't think we should have to live our lives based on whether somebody does or doesn't get a vaccine. We should just go, this is the date. We're getting back to normal. I've told every governor, lift your mandates. The cities and some businesses want to keep it on. That's fine. But at some point, we're going to get back to getting back. Maybe for some people out there, they'll say, you know what? I think I am going to go to vaccine because it lights a fire. For others, they're going to go live their lives. And no, I don't think the majority of them that do get sick, if they do get sick, are going to die or be in intensive care or that stuff. Well, we'll show you. You'll get it, and then you watch out what happens. Okay. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tonight, Biden going to address the nation. No designated survivor. Not even like the undersecretary of the Agriculture Department. Nope. None of that. No designated survivor apparently tonight. But he's going to roll out his America Family Plan, which sounds like something you get at a restaurant. I'll take the American Family Plan.
President Biden tonight will lay out the details of his American Family Plan, what the White House is calling a, quote, once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's future. The $1.8 trillion proposal would create universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, a step the White House says will benefit 5 million children and save the average family $13,000 a year. The plan also calls for 2 years of free community college and a national paid family and medical leave program.
Yeah, and a lot of other stuff. 1.8 trillion. This is not infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is something totally different. This is another plan he's laying out. So we got 1.8 trillion for this. I don't know how much we've spent on. I don't know. What are we at? Like 7 trillion when it comes to trying to keep everybody afloat with the stimulus / free money giveaway and the PPP loans and all that stuff. So, and then you got to couple that with the fact that people are already saying, what are we up to, like 80 people in Congress already? Like, hey, we need to do another round of this. And then you've got infrastructure, which it's going to cost God knows how much. You start breaking it down, it's like, wow. That's a lot of free money. But tonight is his first address. It's going to be all over. Touch on a little bit tomorrow. I agree with some of the stuff. I've been talking about it all day. The pre-K 3- and 4-year-old. To me, I find that to be absolutely a must. Some of the other stuff we can talk about is how much should we spend here? Let's just say we had $3.5 trillion to spend. And these are your programs. Where do you want to put the money? Not 1.8 here, 2.8 there, 1.9 here, 6. Let's just say we grouped them all together and I gave you this. Think of it like sports, right? Sports, you have a salary cap. Well, government never has a salary cap. Like most sports, like the Yankees don't have a salary cap. They have a luxury tax. Yeah, like whatever. They don't care. But think about having a salary cap. And you say, all right, you've got X amount of dollars, and you have to stay with this. You got to stay inside of here. It can't go anywhere. You can't get out of it. These are all the things you want to do. This is it. This is where the money is. And you can go at it. If you want to not spend $1 on defense, Republicans are going to throw a fit. I'm going to throw a fit. But you know you're not going to do that, so you'll spend some. You want to do some of these programs over here, you got X amount of dollars. Are you going to, what do? Find the ones that work. You're going to look for private-public partnerships we were talking about earlier. California, a company that was amazing. It's a company called C.C. Myers. Played a couple golf tournaments that they put on. And this guy started his company in 1977. Clinton C. Myers. And he was an interesting character. But his whole thing was, I'll do something that you guys can't do. I'll rebuild stuff that you guys can't rebuild. And he was a risk taker. It cost him. I mean, because with risk takers, you blow yourself up, especially personally, financially, because he gambled on everything in life. Didn't care. But when it came to work and doing stuff, it was amazing what he could do comparatively to what happens when it's just the public side of stuff. Perfect example was what took place with the MacArthur Maze, this massive fire that collapsed a freeway in Oakland. So San Francisco, Oakland, this whole thing. Now, how long is it going to take? We don't even know. What about, it's like he comes in, he goes, we can get it done. Oh, how long can you get it done? We'll get it done fast. We'll get it done in 25 days. They're like, you can't get it done in 25 days. You get it done in 25 days, we'll pay you a bonus. Okay. They got it done. $5 million bonus for them. Why? Because they worked nonstop. The job was about getting the job done. Freeway still standing, by the way. Northridge earthquake. I remember it. There was a massive collapse of several things in bridges, in the Santa Monica freeway. And it was a horrific, when the earthquake happened, I just remember there was a police officer that was on his motorcycle and the bridge collapsed. And he was riding and then down he went. They say it's going to take 6 months, maybe a year to do it. He goes, we'll get it done. They said, how fast can you get it done? He goes, we can get it done in 140 days. Like, you can't get it done in 140 days. In fact, every day that you get it done prior to it being done, we'll give you a $200,000 bonus. They got it done in 66 days. They worked nonstop to get it done. You know, almost a $15 million bonus. Private-public partnerships work. The same thing, I think, could be done with when it comes to school, like bringing in outside in some cases, and a lot of different things. By having these things and actually having accountability, it's a wonderful thing. There's no accountability. And that's why they're free to spend your money, knowing if it doesn't work, they don't care. We should care. You and I and everybody else, we have accountability. If you suck at your job, rather than get moved around, you get fired. Your business goes out of business. Like, all these things happen. And sometimes things happen. C.C. Meyer went bankrupt. Why? Well, because he turned it over to his employees and people looted it. It wasn't about the work anymore. But he was long gone. He was a gambler too, man. He bet on himself all day. Remember that golf tournament? He's betting on himself. It's like, dude, you're not gonna out-hit this guy. It's like a tour player. We can do it, and the more that we start holding people accountable for the money they spend, especially when it's our money, that's great. What's the return on investment? Well, for kids going to school, pre-K, it's huge. Look at the jump start they get and how much. This is where you look at the jump start, which is massive. and the opportunities that come because of it and the fact that they have somewhat of a head start, it's great. That's a win for us. Some of the other stuff that's going to be in there, nobody will be held accountable. They'll spend all of their money and they'll ask for it more. And that's the problem. We need accountability in the way that we spend. And I think when it comes to taxes and the way that all this stuff lays out for all the money that everybody wants in their programs, knowing full well, if I told you today, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars, okay, well, what do I have to do? Doesn't matter. You're doing this. Well, do I need to show that there's been progress? Not really. I mean, you can kind of, no, not really. You're just going to smile and go, sounds good to me. And that's a lot of what government is. And that's what's frustrating. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Your love, your hate. I'm good with it all. I am good with it all. How can you say you're good with it all? Because people get mad. People get upset. I've learned that in this business a long time. And the more upset they get, a lot of times, it's because you've hit a nerve. You've challenged something that they thought was a truth. And in challenge something they thought was a truth, they feel like it's a personal thing to you. And I get it. That's human nature, by the way, for all of us, myself included. Handheld. Hi. So, but I do love hearing from you. I try to answer everybody back. Home Title Lock. Protecting you 24/7, 365. Why does it matter? Right now, home prices are skyrocketing. What's in that home that you own? Equity, money, your future. For some of you, your retirement. You look around and you think things are good. Next thing you know, you start getting calls 90 days, 120 days late on what? We didn't do anything. You found out that somebody quit claim a deed of your house to themselves, cyber criminals, and now are running hog wild, taking out all the equity in your home, siphoning. By the time you realize it, you are in a lot of trouble, and the tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going to spend fighting it in court, all for naught. It's a growing cybercrime that's growing faster than, I'm going to say it, kids, even identity theft, because it's easy and it's lucrative. Home Title Lock will protect you. They'll alert you to anything that takes place with your title, even if it's innocuous. Somebody's going in there to with legalese to add something to it, you'll be alerted to it. Try it for yourself. HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. Put your address in. See if you've been a victim. Get 30 days free protection. HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Just some of the new rules being announced ahead of the Tokyo Olympics include requiring all participants to take 2 COVID-19 tests before boarding their flights to Japan, testing athletes daily, and prohibiting participants from using public transportation. Organizers are also saying a decision on whether spectators will be allowed to attend won't be made until June.
Yeah. All that being said, what do the people in Japan want?
In just 86 days, the Olympics are scheduled to begin in Tokyo, but a new survey by Kyodo News indicates organizers are still struggling to win public support. Over 70% of Japanese citizens want the games to be canceled or delayed because of the pandemic. Only a quarter of Japanese saying they want the Olympics to go forward right now. The poll coming out after new, tougher rules were just put into place in Japan to halt the rise of COVID.
Go with my plan, guys. Fly in to Seoul. Do it over like a 4 or 5 week period. The day that they're going to have opening ceremonies, everybody gets on buses, shows up, right, on the DMZ, starts cruising on in, and then let's do it. Pyongyang, you're hosting it. Congratulations. It'll kind of be like a surprise party that he didn't know was coming. I don't think they'll do that. No, but it would be hilarious. sometimes you need to do that. I think that's the way they should do the Olympic Games from now on. Just don't tell a country. Just everybody show up. You don't even know where you're going. What do I pack for? I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Citizen Kane no longer a perfect movie score. They unearthed a old critic who had essentially said the movie was eh. You know what is perfect? Paddington 2. Have a good day. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.